This is Don, the old radio guy here. I'm old and the radios are old, and so we get along quite well. Apologies to my fans, few though you may be, for not posting a video in quite some time. I've had some rather serious health issues, which does tend to happen when you're over 70, and I just haven't been up to all of this stuff. However, I do want to start restoring and maybe modifying a huge old Westinghouse console radio. I think, I haven't got the exact information, but I think it's about 1942. And the kicker for that is that it's got a 78 RPM record player buried behind a nice frame and dust cloth, speaker grill cloth, sorry. And it sort of is invisible when the drawer unit is closed. Now, I have a number of 78s. I might restore that turntable part and just play 78s. However, like most things I do, I like to modify, and I have some changers of 3-speed quality that I might try and fit in there next year. It's winter's just around the corner. It's cool outside in this October day, and it's been raining, and so there's not much I can do outside, so I'm inside. So I'll show you what I've got so far, and we can get started. So I'll reposition the camera and be right back. Okay, this is the unit, kind of lost in shadow, and this will be a multi-part restoration. I've already tested the tubes. I'll just swing it around. You can see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tube plus Magic Eye 7 tube radio chassis, and it's quite dirty. I hope maybe I can get it out into the shop before it's too cold and maybe do something with the chassis. Nothing more to say back there. Okay, now we'll turn it right back, and it has on a volume, that's on a volume and tone, and band switch selector and tuning, which actually still works. Amazing. Okay, now the problems that I've seen so far are, if I can insert this into the view, the voice coil of the speaker was done, and I'm not going to go to the expense of getting a new electrodynamic speaker system for it, or as a speaker. So what I did is I pried off the field coil, and now it's going to be used as a choke underneath the chassis, and the output transformer that is going to be mounted on top of the chassis, and I'll put in a permanent magnet speaker, and I have a few 10-inch ones that will go in there quite nicely. And I know that's a modification some people might not like to have. It has a problem with the push buttons. They flop back and forth. I don't know whether that's what it's supposed to be, but I have to find out how to program. It all has to be cleaned anyhow. Underneath the chassis, okay, you can see there's all original and some replaced capacitors. Resistors will all be checked. That modification that I have to do because of the speaker being defective has left me with an idea that I might pursue. I'm not sure. It is a 6F6 power pentode output tube feeding this 7K ohm primary impedance output transformer. But it's going to be featured in our dining room, and I may redesign it and put take the 6F6 out, put two 6V6s in, design and install a phase inverter for it, which will give us a lot more power with a lot less distortion. So we'll see. I'll proceed with everything and get it running and see how I like it when it's installed in the cabinet. Alright, so this is just the basic part one of it. I've done nothing but replace one tube, and it's a 6SQ7, and the original one was defective. It's amazing that some of these, the rectifier and the power out tube is still Westinghouse. It's original, so that's amazing. I see a lot of other guys. Let me see if I can zoom in here. This filter pack here in this aluminum case houses 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 capacitors, electrolytics, and they will be bad, and I don't even care if I have to replace them. In this case, some people restuff the cans. It's a lot of work. I think I'd rather just leave the can in with all the terminals cut off and then put in little electrolytics, which for higher quality and higher value they're coming in a much smaller package, so I should be able to fit them in there somewhere. I'm not overly concerned with restoring it to original factory shape. I like to get them going, get them running properly, clean up the chassis, and if I do modifications that I like, it makes it better, then that's what I will do. Alright, so I'll go and start replacing some parts, chopping out some, and then I'll get back to you for the next stage. Okay? Okay, I am back. And as they say, through the magic of television, we have the chassis all cleaned up and spray painted with a black hammer tone, is what you call it, I guess. Paint. I took off all the things that I could get reasonably easy from the chassis. The two, if I can make that tighter. Come on, baby. There you go. Now, yeah, try and find what I'm looking for. There's 2 poles here. That's one, and that's the other. And they hold the IF transformers. These fellows here. So I'll bring that back out wide a bit. It'll have to be realigned or aligned. And that I have the transformers out isn't a big deal. I took the tuning cap off of here, and there's the tuning cap. I can't really do too much with it, clean it up a bit, but I can't do what I did to the chassis. I took electric wire brush, circular wire brush, and went over the whole thing, took off everything I could, including years of debris that built up on it. So, it's ready to go, and down in the barn, still drying, is the bottom and the 2 side panels that go in. Wait for it. There. I don't know why they designed their chassis like that. So that's the front and the rear. Okay. I won't be using this connection here, which is for the electrodynamic speaker output transformers mounted on it, so B plus and the power output tube connections go there, and the humbucking and any other thing that has to go out there. It's not going to be used because the transformer, which is here, find it, okay, that will be mounted, I think here somewhere. I'm not sure where the null point is with the power transformer. If you have it too close to the power transformer and they couple inductively, you will get a massive amount of hum in your output. So I have to squeeze it in someplace where I can. The tuning capacitor goes in the middle on the plate, and so they can't go there. So this is the only place for it. They obviously didn't design the chassis to have the transformer in there. So we shall see how it goes in. Oh, I have a couple of these marvelous I don't know whose brand it is, but I've used them before. It's 50 microfarad at 500 volts. And there's the connections there. The top one is common, and there's one the other. The same, it doesn't matter. So it will replace this, I don't know where I put the old can, which went in there. And I will mount this in with a clamp. And it's not the only capacitor that I need in there. There has to be these two and a third one, which is input to the choke, and then there will be ones for the feeds farther down the lines that they'll need to be decoupled. So, at any rate, that's where I is at that. Nothing more is going to be done. I need to let this cure. I like to bake the chassis that I spray paint, but with all the components on it, I can't do that. So, it will just have to cure on its own for maybe a couple of weeks, and then I'll get onto it of replacing all the parts underneath. I could start sooner if I protectively cover this part and the top of that, which will only get scratched up if I throw it upside down on the bench. So that's all there is now. Next visit we'll have all the assemblies on here, and the front dial plate or backing plate on. The actual dial plate is still on the cabinet, and I won't touch that for fear of breaking it until I'm ready to finish the cabinet. So we can get this up and running in a reasonable amount of time, if I have the time, and I shall try and do so and post things as I go along. So that's it for now. I'll be back as soon as I can.